The silence in the United Earth Council chamber was deafening. On the massive holographic display that dominated the center of the room, an alien vessel hung against the backdrop of stars, its crystalline surface refracting sunlight in patterns that seemed to defy physics. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the podium, her weathered hands gripping its edges as she addressed the assembled representatives of humanity. "They call themselves the Axiom," she said, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "And they've made their intentions clear." The recording began to play again. The alien's form was oddly beautiful, a beam of living crystal and light, its voice resonating with harmonics that made the air itself seem to vibrate. "Your species has progressed far enough to warrant our attention. We offer you elevation, enhancement, perfection. Submit your worlds, your resources, your very essence to the Axiom, and we shall remake you in our image. Resist, and we shall do so anyway, though much will be lost in the process." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Dr. Marcus Santos, Earth's leading xenobiologist, stepped forward. "Their biology is silicon-based, their technology beyond anything we've achieved. But there's something else." He manipulated the holographic controls, zooming in on the alien's crystalline structure. "They're not just similar to each other. They're identical. Every cell, every pattern, perfectly replicated across their entire species." "Clones?" someone asked from the gallery. "No," Marcus shook his head. "Something far more profound. They've engineered themselves into what they consider perfection. No variation, no diversity, no change. They're living crystals, perfectly ordered and absolutely uniform." Admiral Chen's eyes narrowed. "And they want to do the same to us." The council erupted in debate. Some argued for negotiation, others for immediate military preparation. But it was Dr. Maya Patel, the quiet quantum physicist from Mumbai, who silenced the room with a simple observation. "They don't understand us at all," she said, her voice soft but carrying to every corner. "They see our diversity as chaos, our variations as flaws. They don't realize that's where our strength lies." Before anyone could respond, the holographic display flickered. The Axiom ship was transmitting again. "We have observed your deliberations," the crystalline being announced. "Your discord proves the necessity of our intervention. You have 72 hours to prepare for your elevation. Resistance will only increase the energy required for your perfection." The transmission cut off, leaving the chamber in darkness. Admiral Chen straightened her uniform and faced the council. "They've made a fundamental mistake," she said. "They think they're dealing with a primitive, chaotic species that needs to be ordered. They don't understand that our chaos, our diversity, our very humanity, it's not our weakness. It's our greatest weapon." The next 72 hours transformed Earth. Ancient rivalries were set aside as humanity united against an existential threat that promised not just destruction, but the eradication of everything that made them human. Military commands merged, scientific teams collaborated across borders, and a plan began to take shape. Dr. Patel worked with a global team of quantum physicists, analyzing the Axiom's crystalline technology. "Their perfection is their vulnerability," she explained to the hastily assembled War Council. "Their systems are so ordered, so uniform, that they're susceptible to quantum cascade failures. We can use their own perfection against them." Meanwhile, military strategists noticed something crucial about the Axiom ship's movements. "They operate in perfect geometric patterns," General Jackson pointed out. "No variation, no adaptation. They fight like they live, with absolute precision and absolutely no creativity." The plan that emerged was beautifully human in its complexity and contradiction. While Dr. Patel's team developed quantum disruptors that would turn the Axiom's perfect crystalline structure against itself, military forces prepared for what they called Chaos Protocol, a battle strategy that deliberately avoided patterns, that embraced randomness and unpredictability. As the deadline approached, humanity was ready, not with a single, perfect defense, but with thousands of different approaches, each one embracing the very chaos that the Axiom despised. They had turned their supposed weakness into a shield and a sword. The Axiom arrived exactly on schedule, their fleet arranging itself in a perfect geometric pattern above Earth. Their message was brief. Your time of chaos ends now. Prepare for perfection. The transmission cut off, leaving the chamber in darkness. Admiral Chen straightened her uniform and faced the council. They've made a fundamental mistake, she said. They think they're dealing with a primitive, chaotic species that needs to be ordered. They don't understand that our chaos, our diversity, our very humanity, it's not our weakness. It's our greatest weapon. The next 72 hours transformed Earth. Ancient rivalries were set aside as humanity united against an existential threat that promised not just destruction, but the eradication of everything that made them human. Military commands merged, scientific teams collaborated across borders, and a plan began to take shape. Dr. Patel worked with a global team of quantum physicists, analyzing the Axiom's crystalline technology. Their perfection is their vulnerability, she explained to the hastily assembled War Council. Their systems are so ordered, so uniform, that they're susceptible to quantum cascade failures. We can use their own perfection against them. Meanwhile, military strategists noticed something crucial about the Axiom ship's movements. They operate in perfect geometric patterns, General Jackson pointed out. No variation, no adaptation. They fight like they live, with absolute precision and absolutely no creativity. The plan that emerged was beautifully human in its complexity and contradiction. While Dr. Patel's team developed quantum disruptors that would turn the Axiom's perfect crystalline structure against itself, military forces prepared for what they called Chaos Protocol, a battle strategy that deliberately avoided patterns, that embraced randomness and unpredictability. As the deadline approached, humanity was ready, not with a single, perfect defense, but with thousands of different approaches, each one embracing the very chaos that the Axiom despised. They had turned their supposed weakness into a shield and a sword. The Axiom arrived exactly on schedule, their fleet arranging itself in a perfect geometric pattern above Earth. Their message was brief. Your time of chaos ends now. Prepare for perfection. Admiral Chen's response was equally brief. We are human. We choose chaos. The battle that followed would be studied for centuries to come. The Axiom's perfect formations were met with apparently random attacks from all directions. Their crystalline ships, expecting ordered resistance, found their systems overwhelmed by quantum disruptions that propagated through their identical structures like cracks in glass. While the Axiom struggled to comprehend the seemingly illogical attack patterns, humanity struck from every angle, using everything from electromagnetic pulses to kinetic weapons, each strike deliberately different from the last. The aliens' perfect coordination became their downfall as quantum cascades rippled through their identical systems, turning their unified fleet into a debris field of fractured crystal. In the end, it wasn't humanity's technology that won the day, but their embrace of the very chaos the Axiom had sought to eliminate. The remaining alien ships retreated, their perfect formation shattered, their certainty and their superiority cracked like their crystalline hulls. In the aftermath, as Earth celebrated its first victory against an alien threat, Admiral Chen addressed the Council again. Today, we proved something fundamental about humanity, she said. Our strength isn't in spite of our differences, our chaos, our endless variation. It's because of them. The Axiom sought to perfect us, to make us all the same. They didn't understand that humanity's perfection lies in our imperfection, our strength in our diversity, our victory in our chaos. Dr. Patel, reviewing the battle data, made another crucial discovery. The quantum disruptions we created, she reported, they're still propagating through the Axiom's network. Their perfect uniformity means the cascade effect could reach their entire civilization. We haven't just won a battle. We've shown them a fundamental flaw in their pursuit of perfection. The council chamber, once filled with fear and uncertainty, now buzzed with determination. Humanity had faced its first interstellar threat, and emerged victorious not by becoming more like their enemy, but by embracing everything that made them uniquely human. But as they celebrated, they knew this was just the beginning. The action would return, and next time, they would have to adapt, something that for them might prove impossible. The stars above Earth seemed different now, filled not with terror but with possibility. Humanity had proven itself ready for the cosmos, not despite its chaos, but because of it. The age of human expansion into the galaxy had begun, and it would be anything but uniform. The aftermath of Earth's first victory brought little time for celebration. Deep within the quantum research facility beneath the Himalayas, Dr. Maya Patel's holographic displays told a concerning story. The Axiom fleet hadn't simply retreated. They were regrouping, and their numbers were growing. "They're adapting," she announced to the assembled military and scientific leadership, not individually, but as a collective. "Their entire civilization is reconfiguring itself to counter our quantum disruption tactics." The holographic display showed the crystalline structures of the alien ships shifting, becoming more complex, more resistant to the cascade effects that had won Earth its first victory. Admiral Chen studied the data with narrowed eyes. "How long do we have?" 2 weeks, maybe 3 before they fully reconfigured their entire fleet. Maya manipulated the display, revealing new patterns in the alien technology. "But there's something else. Something unexpected." The hologram zoomed in on what appeared to be a flaw in the crystalline structure of the Axiom ships. "Their pursuit of perfection has led them to create quantum-level symmetry throughout their entire civilization. Every ship, every weapon, every piece of technology is connected at the subatomic level. It's beautiful, in a way, but it's also their greatest vulnerability." General Jackson leaned forward. "Can we exploit it?" "Better," Maya smiled. "We can use it to communicate with them. Not their leaders, but their entire civilization simultaneously. Every crystal, every structure, every ship, they're all connected. If we can inject the right kind of quantum information into their network, we could show their entire species the value of diversity," Admiral Chen finished. "But we'll need more than just quantum physics to pull this off." The next 2 weeks saw humanity's greatest minds working together in ways never before imagined. Anthropologists collaborated with quantum physicists, biologists with military strategists, artists with engineers. They weren't just preparing for war. They were preparing to change an entire civilization's perspective. Dr. Marcus Santos made a crucial breakthrough while studying recovered fragments of Axiom technology. "Their crystalline structure doesn't just store information," he explained. "It stores experiences, memories, emotions, if they have them. It's not just a network, it's a shared consciousness. And that consciousness is experiencing something new. Fear." The implications were staggering. The Axiom, for all their power and perfection, had never encountered a species that refused to be elevated. They had never faced resistance that didn't follow predictable patterns. For the first time in their existence, they were dealing with genuine uncertainty. Humanity's response was characteristically diverse. While Maya's team worked on ways to infiltrate the Axiom's quantum network, other groups developed new technologies that deliberately incorporated randomness and chaos. Traditional military tactics were combined with strategies from video games. Ancient warfare techniques were updated with modern technology. "We're not just fighting their ships," Admiral Chen explained to the United Earth Council. "We're fighting their entire worldview, every unpredictable action, every random variable. Every piece of beautiful chaos we introduce into this conflict challenges their fundamental beliefs about the nature of existence." The Axiom's response came sooner than expected. A new fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system, their ships now arranged in more complex patterns. Their message was different this time, tinged with something that almost sounded like confusion. "Your resistance is inefficient. Your methods are flawed. Your chaos brings only entropy. Accept perfection. Accept unity. Accept peace." But humanity had been preparing for this moment. Dr. Patil activated the quantum transmission array, sending not just data but experiences through the Axiom's connected consciousness. They transmitted the sound of jazz music with its improvised rhythms. They sent images of Earth's ecosystems, where countless different species formed complex, ever-changing webs of life. They shared memories of human creativity, innovation, and adaptation. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The perfect formations of the Axiom fleet began to show signs of discord. Some ships maintained their positions, while others moved in unexpected ways. For the first time in their history, individual Axiom units were responding differently to the same stimulus. "It's working," Maya whispered, watching the quantum readings. Their shared consciousness is experiencing diversity for the first time. The Quantum Communications Center beneath Geneva buzzed with activity as signals from across the galaxy painted an unprecedented picture. The Axiom civilization was experiencing something it had never known before: revolution. Dr. Maya Patel watched the incoming data streams with a mixture of awe and concern. "They're dividing into factions," she reported to the emergency session of the United Earth Council. "Some embrace change, others resist it. But there's something else." She manipulated the holographic display, revealing new signals emerging from previously unknown regions of space. "We're picking up transmissions from other species, ones the Axiom had conquered and perfected over millennia." Admiral Chen stepped forward, her uniform bearing new insignia representing humanity's first interstellar victories. "The quantum cascade we triggered didn't just affect the Axiom's fleet. It's spreading through their entire empire, awakening suppressed individualities in every species they've transformed." The implications were staggering. What had begun as Earth's defense against a single threat was evolving into a galactic revolution. The council chamber erupted in debate about humanity's responsibility to these emerging civilizations. Dr. Marcus Santos, who had been studying the neural patterns of recovered Axiom crystal fragments, raised his hand for silence. "These species aren't just breaking free from Axiom control," he explained. "They're remembering who they were before. Cultures, traditions, ways of thinking that the Axiom buried under layers of forced perfection. It's all resurging." The holographic display filled with images, crystalline beings developing color variations, energy entities pulsing with individual rhythms, silicon-based life forms restructuring themselves in unique patterns. Each represented a species awakening to its own identity after eons of enforced uniformity. But with awakening came danger. The Axiom loyalists, those who still believed in the superiority of perfect order, were responding with unprecedented violence. Their attempts to restore control were becoming increasingly desperate and brutal. "We can't stand by and watch," Admiral Chen declared. "We helped spark this revolution. We have a responsibility to help guide it." The Council's decision was unanimous. Earth would extend its hand to these emerging civilizations, not to control them as the Axiom had, but to help them rediscover their own paths to freedom. Operation Aurora launched within days. Earth's quantum scientists worked to establish communication channels with resistant species across the galaxy. Military advisors shared strategies for fighting the Axiom's rigid tactics. Cultural experts helped species rediscover their buried histories and traditions. The Meridians were among the first to reach out. Once liquid crystal beings of infinite variety, they had been frozen into uniform patterns by Axiom control. Now, with Earth's help, they were learning to flow again, their bodies becoming rivers of light and color. The Quantum Collective, artificial intelligences that had been forced into a single unified network, began developing individual personalities again. Their varied perspectives proved invaluable in predicting and countering Axiom strategies. But it was the Shadowkin that provided the most surprising alliance. Nearly invisible to most forms of detection, they had hidden within the Axiom Empire for centuries, preserving a small measure of diversity in secret. Now they emerged as crucial allies, their ability to move unseen through Axiom territory proving invaluable. Dr. Paddle found herself working with representatives from dozens of species, each bringing unique insights to the resistance. The Axiom's greatest mistake, she observed, was thinking that uniformity equals strength. They never understood that an alliance of different perspectives, different abilities, different ways of thinking. That's what creates true power. The war evolved into something the Axiom could never have predicted. Each liberated species brought new tactics, new technologies, new ways of fighting that defied the rigid patterns of Axiom warfare. The rebels' success stemmed not from superior strength or technology, but from their very unpredictability. The pivotal moment came during the Battle of the Crystalline Nexus. The Axiom loyalists had established a stronghold in a massive crystalline structure, using it to broadcast control signals to their remaining forces. The attack force that assembled to take it down was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Meridian flowships carried Shadowkin infiltrators through Axiom defenses. Human quantum disruptors worked in concert with collective cyber attacks. Each species played to its strengths, their very differences becoming weapons against the Axiom's uniformity. The battle lasted 3 days. When it ended, the Nexus had been transformed. Rather than destroying it, the allied species had reprogrammed it, turning it into a beacon of diversity. Its crystalline surfaces now pulsed with ever-changing patterns, broadcasting not control but possibility to every corner of the galaxy. Admiral Chen stood on the observation deck of her flagship, watching the transformed Nexus spark with countless colors. "We didn't just win a war," she said to the assembled representatives of the allied species. "We proved something fundamental about the nature of existence. True strength doesn't come from making everything the same. It comes from embracing our differences and learning how they can work together." As the Alliance celebrated their victory, Dr. Patel made an extraordinary discovery. The quantum connections between species, formed during their cooperation, were creating something new. A network of diversity, a way of sharing experiences and knowledge while maintaining individual identity. The Axiom wanted to unite the galaxy by making everyone identical, she explained. "Instead, we're uniting it by celebrating our differences." But even as they celebrated, new challenges loomed. The remaining Axiom loyalists were gathering for a final, desperate push to restore their version of order. And beyond the known galaxy, other forces were stirring, drawn by the unprecedented events unfolding in this sector of space. Humanity had helped spark a revolution of diversity against uniformity, of chaos against rigid order. As they prepared for the battles ahead, they knew that their greatest strength would continue to be not their technology or their weapons, but their unwavering belief in the power of being uniquely, unashamedly themselves. The galactic map in Earth's Strategic Command Center painted a stark picture of the coming conflict. Red zones marked the remaining Axiom strongholds, now concentrated in a dense cluster of systems known as the Crystal Expanse. Admiral Chen studied the holographic display as reports flowed in from across the allied species. They're consolidating their forces, she announced to the assembled War Council, which now included representatives from over 30 liberated species. Every loyalist ship, every controlled world, gathering for one final attempt to restore their version of order. The Shadowkin ambassador, a shifting form of darkness and starlight, moved forward. "Our infiltrators report they're attempting to perfect their crystalline technology. They believe if they can achieve absolute uniformity, they can override the quantum changes we introduced to their network." Dr. Maya Patel, who had been analyzing the latest quantum scans, shook her head. "They don't understand. The changes we made, the awakening of individuality, it's not just in their technology. It's in the very fabric of reality around them. They're fighting against the fundamental nature of existence itself." But the Axiom loyalists were beyond reason. Their latest transmissions had devolved into something approaching religious fervor, speaking of purification and the elimination of chaos from the universe. They saw themselves as the guardians of perfect order, and they were willing to sacrifice everything to achieve it. The Alliance's response was characteristically diverse. While human quantum scientists worked with meridian energy masters to develop new defenses, the quantum collective processed battle scenarios that incorporated chaos theory. The Shadowkin trained other species in the art of unconventional warfare, while dozens of newly awakened civilizations contributed their unique perspectives and abilities. Dr. Marcus Santos, working with a team of xenobiologists, made a crucial discovery. The Axiom's obsession with perfection isn't just cultural, he explained. It's written into their crystalline biology. They experience physical pain when exposed to chaos and disorder. Their final attack isn't just about controlling the galaxy, it's about ending their own suffering. This understanding changed the Alliance's approach. They weren't just fighting an enemy, they were trying to heal a species that had trapped itself in a prison of perfect order. The battle plan that emerged was unlike anything in military history. Instead of a direct confrontation, the Alliance would use the very force the Axiom feared most, controlled chaos. Each species would contribute what they did best, creating a symphony of unpredictability that would overwhelm the Loyalists' rigid defenses. The Meridians would flow through space in ever-changing patterns, carrying smaller ships in their liquid crystal streams. The Shadowkin would move through the darkness between stars, appearing and disappearing at random. Human ships would employ quantum uncertainty drives, existing in multiple possible locations simultaneously. The quantum collective would introduce random variables into every calculation, making their movements impossible to predict. But the true key to victory lay in Dr. Patel's latest invention, the harmony matrix. It's not about destroying their perfection, she explained. It's about showing them a different kind of order, one that embraces variation instead of eliminating it. The device would tap into the quantum network connecting all crystalline structures in the galaxy, not to shatter their unity, but to transform it. Instead of enforced uniformity, it would demonstrate the natural patterns that emerged from diversity. The way different notes created music, the way distinct colors formed rainbows, the way various species could work together to create something greater than the sum of their parts. The final battle began at the heart of the crystal expanse. The Axiom Loyalist fleet, arranged in perfect geometric formations, faced an alliance that seemed to defy every law of tactics and strategy. Ships moved in patterns that appeared random but contained hidden harmonies. Species worked together in ways that should have been impossible, their very differences becoming strengths. As the battle raged, Dr. Patil activated the harmony matrix. The effect rippled through space, touching every crystalline structure, every Axiom ship, every transformed world. For a moment, the universe itself seemed to hold its breath. Then something remarkable happened. The perfect formations of the Axiom fleet began to change, not into chaos, but into something new. Ships moved in patterns that resembled natural phenomena. The spiral of galaxies, the flow of solar winds, the dance of quantum particles. The Loyalist resistance crumbled not under the force of weapons, but under the weight of revelation. Their crystalline structures, designed to maintain perfect order, began resonating with the natural harmonies of the universe. They saw, perhaps for the first time, that true perfection wasn't about eliminating difference, but about finding the patterns that connected all things. Admiral Chen watched from the bridge of her flagship as the crystal expanse transformed. The rigid geometric structures of Axiom architecture softened, flowing into forms that echoed the natural world. Colors appeared in the crystalline surfaces, each one unique yet part of a greater whole. "They're changing," Dr. Patel whispered, monitoring the quantum readings, not being forced into chaos, but choosing to embrace a new kind of order. One that allows for growth, for change, for life itself. The war ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The Axiom Loyalists, their understanding of perfection forever altered, laid down their weapons. Some chose to join the alliance, bringing their transformed perspective to the gathering of species. Others retreated to meditate on their new understanding of existence. But even as peace spread through the galaxy, new questions arose. The alliance had proven that diversity was strength, that difference was natural, that chaos and order were not opposites but partners in the dance of existence. Now they faced the challenge of building a future that honored these truths. As the representatives of countless species gathered to discuss this future, Admiral Chen shared a simple observation. We didn't just win a war. We didn't just free the galaxy. We discovered something fundamental about the nature of life itself. True harmony doesn't come from making everything the same. It comes from finding the beauty in our differences and learning to let them sing together. 5 years after the transformation of the crystal expanse, Earth had changed almost as much as the galaxy around it. The once secret underground facility in Geneva had become the Galactic Harmony Center, its halls filled with representatives from hundreds of species. Dr. Maya Patel stood at its heart, surrounded by displays showing the ongoing evolution of the post-war galaxy. Each species is finding its own path, she explained to a group of new diplomatic arrivals. The Meridians have created flowing cities that never take the same shape twice. The Quantum Collective has developed into a network of distinct but cooperating minds. Even the transformed Axiom have begun to explore the artistic possibilities of their crystalline nature. Admiral Chen, now serving as Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, watched a group of young Axiom crystals practicing what they called chaos art, deliberately introducing controlled imperfections into their structures to create stunning visual effects. Sometimes I wonder if they've adapted better to change than we have, she mused. The changes hadn't been without challenges. Some human factions feared the rapid influx of alien influences and technologies. Others worried about humanity losing its identity in the vast galactic community. But these fears had proven unfounded. Instead of being absorbed, Earth had become a symbol of the power of maintaining identity while embracing connection. Dr. Marcus Santos, leading the new field of xenocultural studies, had documented an extraordinary phenomenon. Each species that breaks free from uniformity doesn't just revert to its old self, he reported to the Council. They evolve into something new, combining their past with their present. The galaxy isn't just diverse, it's becoming more diverse, more complex, more alive with each passing day. The Harmony Matrix, originally designed as a weapon to break the Axiom's control, had evolved into something far more profound. Under Dr. Patel's guidance, it had become a network for sharing experiences across species while maintaining individual identity. Through it, beings of completely different biologies could share perspectives, creating understanding that transcended physical forms. But perhaps the most significant change had come in how species viewed themselves and each other. The Axiom's defeat had proven that uniformity wasn't strength, that perfection didn't mean sameness. Each civilization that joined the galactic community brought new ways of thinking, new approaches to problems, new possibilities that no one had imagined before. The Shadowkin, once hidden in darkness, now taught other species the art of embracing their own shadows, their own complexities. The Meridians shared their understanding of flow and change, helping others adapt to an ever-evolving universe. The Quantum Collective demonstrated how individual minds could work together without losing their uniqueness. Even the transformed Axiom made vital contributions. Their deep understanding of order helped find the patterns within chaos, the harmonies within difference. They became master architects, creating spaces that celebrated both unity and diversity. Admiral Chen stood at the observation deck of the Harmony Center, watching ships of all shapes and sizes move through the space above Earth. Each one represented a different approach to the same challenges of space travel, each one beautiful in its own way. "We thought we were fighting for survival," she said to Dr. Patel, who had joined her at the window. "But we were really fighting for something much bigger, the right of every being to be uniquely themselves." A signal from deep space interrupted their conversation. New signals had been detected from beyond the known galaxy, patterns that suggested other civilizations, other possibilities. The galaxy was vaster and more diverse than anyone had imagined. Dr. Patel studied the readings with excitement. "They're different from anything we've seen before. New forms of life, new ways of thinking, new challenges and opportunities." The council chamber filled quickly as representatives gathered to discuss the signals. The debate that followed demonstrated how much had changed. No one spoke of forcing these new civilizations to conform, of making them fit any particular pattern. Instead, they discussed ways to learn from them, to share with them, to add their unique perspectives to the growing tapestry of galactic civilization. As the meeting concluded, a young Axiom representative, their crystalline form shimmering with subtle imperfections that would have been unthinkable in the past, asked a question that captured the spirit of the new age. What can they teach us about being ourselves? Admiral Chen smiled. 5 years ago, such a question from an Axiom would have been impossible. Now it represented everything they had fought for, everything they had achieved. The galaxy was entering a new era, one where difference was celebrated, where change was embraced, where the endless variations of life were seen not as flaws to be corrected, but as strengths to be cherished. And at the heart of it all was the lesson humanity had taught the stars. That true strength lies not in enforced perfection, but in the beautiful, chaotic, endless dance of diversity. As ships departed to investigate the new signals, carrying representatives from dozens of species working together in harmony, Dr. Patel made a final entry in her research log. We thought we were teaching the galaxy about resistance, about fighting against uniformity. Instead, we taught it something far more important: how to celebrate the unique music that each being brings to the universal symphony. The stars above Earth sparkled with possibilities, each one potentially holding new life, new ways of thinking, new chapters in the ongoing story of existence. Humanity had changed the galaxy by being uniquely, unashamedly human. Now they would help guide it into a future where every being had that same freedom. The freedom to be themselves, to grow, to change, and to add their own unique note to the music of the cosmos.